I'm back. Um, yeah, I was talking about um, my boys and shit like that, and homies that I had when I was locked up. Um, I uh, I didn't finish the story about MGK. Well, he was freaking full of shit. He wanted everybody to think that he was in the Aryan Brotherhood, and he ran up a tab too, and I saw them one night freaking you know, I saw him get shot and freaking pummeled. And the COs freaking saw him laying on the ground and freaking called a whole team of them up. And then they took him. And then, like 20 minutes later, freaking a sergeant and a few officers freaking stormed up into the dorm. The sergeant was pissed because he was retiring in a week, and he said, I'm retiring in a week and I gotta deal with this freaking shit. You guys are on the burn for 7 days, which means uh no microwave, um no no hot pot, no TV, no toaster, nothing. The only thing they didn't take away was the freaking kiosk, which because we had every inmate gets a tablet now, and you can download like music, games, and stuff like that. I didn't do that, but I did use it to because there's an email system through JPay, and that's the way I was able to at least talk to my girl every day. And so yeah, what happened to MGK freaking the sergeant freaking flipped out because you put freaking steel in a little white boy. Like that caused some racial tension when he said that, because he was mad that freaking like a white boy got attacked. So there's a lot of racial tension in prison. There really is. You got to be careful what comes out of your mouth. Your mouth can get you in the most fucking trouble in prison. So then I wanted to talk about, um, you know, if you want things in prison, you gotta hustle for them. You gotta hustle if you want stuff, and like got people who work in the mess hall, had hustles and by getting like food and a lot of juice. Juice is made for used for hooch or prison wine. That actually a lot of people turn that into clear liquor, and it's fucking strong. It's like, yeah, it's basically the same thing as moonshine, just freaking just prison style. Freaking, I remember my neighbor freaking have and my buddy Russ were freaking Russ guy. We're sitting in my neighbor's cube, and he handed me a 12-ounce Pepsi bottle. The liquor was up to the bottom of the wrapper, or the label. Um, I drank that shit. Whew. I needed a freaking cigarette right after I freaking took that. That little bit freaking it didn't get me wasted, but I was definitely feeling it, and it was really nice freaking because it was right before I was going to bed. So at a nighty night time, good stuff. But but yeah, freaking like I got got the Scrabble game. I got freaking sheets. I've got freaking I would buy stuff off like the mess hall people because like that my one buddy Jonesy freaking that was his only freaking means of getting any money, and so I used to like he would hook me up with like a bunch of coffee cake because we had coffee cake with breakfast on every Wednesday morning, and it was just yellow cake, like a yellow cake mix cake with this much fucking brown sugar on top. And actually, it was pretty damn good. It really was. Like some things in prison food for the most part sucks. But there are a few things that I like. I mean, oatmeal. I loved the oatmeal, grits, um, stuff like that, and then like the hot dog trays. Freaking like I knew people in the mess hall, and they freaking like give me because everybody gets 3 hot dogs. So I would usually get 4, and then I remember one day I ate freaking 7. Freaking so yeah, but you gotta work, for stuff. What else did I get? Freaking um, it's talking about the mess hall and my Scrabble board, my sheets, um, freaking I would get. I'm trying to think. Hold on a second. This stuff is absolutely delicious. If you haven't tried Olipop, I highly recommend it. There's let's see, there is like 8, maybe 16 flavors, I think, or so. Yeah, and it's I have diabetes, and so I drank diet soda for years. There's so much crap in it that's bad for you. So Olipop is actually healthy for you. It's got fiber, vitamins, and all natural stuff. And there's only 2 to 5 grams of sugar a can, which isn't that much. So, I was able to get bricks, Pat's pack of cigarettes, um, sticks and stamps of K2, um, booze, freaking yeah. Man, if you want stuff, you gotta work for it. Like what I did was well, I had the Suboxone hustle, and that was a very good one, very very good hustle to have. Freaking well, because I said in the one other video that they were starting to put everybody who wants to be on it, and mad people were freaking jealous of me that I freaking was like the only one of the only ones in the dorm that freaking that got it. And they would always ask me questions like, "Yo, when we getting in the MAT program? Like what? Like, dude, I don't know. I don't freaking. That doesn't have anything to do with me. I don't freaking pay attention, and people actually took offense to that. My one neighbor who was annoying as fuck, he was like, "Oh, you think that freaking only you deserve to be on the in the program?" I'm like, "Fuck you, fuck you." And like people would ask me to freaking ask the nurses, and like I'm not doing that, freaking, because it doesn't have anything to do with me. I don't know why freaking people took such offense to that. But anyway, freaking, so I had the Suboxone. Um, I did also, I did 2 cubes. My buddy Busy and my buddy Millsy. Millsy's rundown gangster blood. He's from Buffalo. Freaking, I would freaking clean their cubes. Busy's wasn't that bad, but Millsy, oh my god, he was a slob, fucking slob. Like the first time I cleaned his cube, freaking so much freaking garbage and shit. And yeah, it was a pain. It was a pain in the ass, freaking, like throwing out what he was gonna, what to throw out, what to keep. Um, but I made good money from that. Like I would get like every week I would get like a brick and like snacks or coffee or drinks, stuff like that. Like if I had cigarettes and coffee, then I was good. But when I hold on. And then I had another hustle I had was milk. This one OG came up to me. He's like, "Yo, you go to breakfast?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Can you bring back next milk?" I'm like, "Sure." Well, at that point, it was freaking starting to get chilly out, and so I was able to wear my coat, and I was able to hide him in the sleeves of my coat, and so you get in prison, you get 2 cartons of milk at breakfast every day. Everybody gets 2, and so that's 14 cartons of milk a week that we get. I was giving him 11 because there was 3 days where I needed it for cold cereal, which they feed you freaking bran flakes, corn flakes, and that's about it. Yeah, freaking, and then I had another hustle, but I'm not gonna really talk about it because I could have gotten in a lot of fucking trouble. So we'll just leave it at that. Um, I freaking I'll talk about my parole hearing. I I went in front of the parole board in the mid September of 22, and it was a virtual thing. There was these 3 older black gentlemen firing off questions at me, and at first I was getting freaking so anxious and jittery, and and then I was able to freaking like really open up, and and just tell them things and stuff like that I really don't think I need to be here. This is a little extreme for DWIs, which I don't think people with DWI should go to prison. Only if you kill somebody. That's the only way somebody should go to freaking, you know. So where was I? So yeah, so I was pretty good. I was pretty good at hustling. I did it in the county jail, and I did it in prison. Collins was the only time I really like did stuff like that because I had easy access, and so I went in front of my parole board. So I got, for some reason, freaking I was drawing a blank, and I completely forgot what I was talking about. Freaking, so back to my parole board. The parole board, um, I waited 2 weeks for the results, whether for of their decision, and those 2 weeks were not a good time for me because I didn't think that I made it. I really didn't, and I was hearing from mad people that um freaking DWI people usually don't make their first board. So yeah, those 2 weeks were terrible. I was so anxious. Because if I didn't make it, I would have to stay another year. And freaking, I hated freaking the facility that we were at. Hated it. Freaking, it was falling apart. Freaking, the phones were a bitch to get on. Freaking, like motherfuckers who will freaking stab you over freaking something like really really petty. Like it's prison's not a joke. It's not, and nobody should take it as a joke because your mouth can get you in a lot of fucking trouble. That's why I was really careful with what I said and who I talked to, and yeah, it was not a good time. So 2 weeks go by and I freaking get the results, and me and Nikki were reading it together, and he's like, because I didn't really understand some of the things in the paper. He's like, bro, you made it. I'm like, oh, thank God. Thank God. So, but I still had to wait until January 23rd to go home. So I had to, that whole time I freaking, tried to be on my best behavior and not get in any trouble. So, and at Collins, I wasn't given a prison job for whatever reason. Um, because I signed up for a vocational training. That's why I picked plumbing, and there's a building where there's where they have these classes like plumbing, small engine repair, freaking. There's a culinary arts program. Um, there's a pro. There's a lot. I forget like how many. I think maybe built like a building trades thing. I really have a hard time remembering what the hell else they had. But I was in plumbing for maybe 3.5 weeks or so, and then they pulled me out of it to take phase 3. And what phase three is the program you got to do, for you before you go home. Well, all we did was freaking just sit there for how many hours, 2 hours or whatever, 2.5, and people would just be talking freaking war stories the whole time. Like you didn't freaking do anything, nothing. Like when I was at Mohawk, there was a dude in my dorm who taught phase three, and he actually freaking, you know, tried to help people, freaking, talk to them about, getting jobs, freaking, you know, having them write resume. Like he was actually teaching that all that because he I don't remember his name, but he was in prison for 2 years because, well, he's not even from New York. He's from California, and he was running like an illegal gambling freaking website, and freaking somewhere something in New York freaking happened with it, and then he got popped. He looked a lot like Jeff Goldblum, the actor from Jurassic Park and Independence Day. That's why I remember about him. So yeah, but phase three, it's 5 weeks. 5 weeks of just freaking sitting there, just doing nothing. Thankfully, I got to leave early every day because of Suboxone. So then, all right. So phase three was I finished phase three, and then the only program I had after that was ASAT. Cause ASAT was 4 times a week. No, we had Thursdays off from it, and freaking, there's a group of guys who get chosen to be the hierarchy. Like I can't remember the positions, but yeah, freaking, because we opened up ASAT every day the same way. Like, people could do pull-ups or push-ups. What that means, like, a pull-up means that, is a negative thing, and a push-up is a positive thing. Like, freaking, I like a few weeks before I went home. I was usually really quiet in ASAT. I stood up and I said I wanted to push up the whole community. And I told them, as you know, I'm going home soon, and freaking, I thought prison would be a freaking cakewalk because it was. Well, prison was a cakewalk for me for the most part. Like I really didn't have like a ton of freaking problems. I definitely did. Like getting my ass whooped by the COs, freaking shit with BW, freaking, motherfuckers owing me money, just that shit. But I pushed up the whole community, and and I told them that that I thought they were a great group of guys, and I I named off a whole list of people who um I wanted to give a shout out to for like happy for you know for helping me out with something. I was in there with some good dudes. It was just freaking. It was just you know a few bad people that freaking made it kind of a little stressful. Freaking when people are constantly freaking try getting like coming up on you and Yeah, freaking. But like I said, it was a cakewalk for the most part, except for the few issues. But it's not something I ever want to do again. Not at all. And I'm going to talk about in my next video about the regret and remorse. And I'll get more on that here shortly. But the last thing, I spent the holidays in there freaking Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's. Um, I was able to get on the phone at 7 o'clock Christmas morning, and my mom answered, said she was emailing me in the process while I called her, and my dad almost passed away. Like he was in the hospital for a minute. My dad even said he thought he was going. That's got to be a really difficult feeling. So I made it through the holidays, and then January 23rd, me and my girlfriend, my mom and my girlfriend Barbara picked me up, and went back home. So I'm gonna leave that here right now, and this will be the last prison video, and the next video is gonna be on regret and remorse. All right, stay tuned.